Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. In this video, I'm going to show you the stuff you didn't know about FL Studio. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. I need you guys to smash that like button. We've trained over 1 million producers around the world. Some have gone to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Glorilla. We have 3 confirmed Grammy winners, multi-platinum plaque winning producers. All right, so let's start with the first tip, which is multi-samples. A lot of people don't realize in FL Studio you can actually create a system for exporting what are called multi-samples, the things that basically build up a plugin. So for example, we're working on the BusyWorks Beats Sampler 2 right now. So we're dealing with UI stuff right now, meaning user interface. Let me load this up. So it's cleaner interface, but basically when you load this plugin, okay, it can load up different sounds, okay? So these sounds are built up of what are called multi-samples. So instead of just taking one sample and trying to stretch like a one shot, you're taking a sample of each specific tone and it gives a more high definition sound. So that's how we built this plugin. This user interface will look different by the time it's out. This is just a prototype. Okay, so that is an instrument you build with what are called multi-samples. So let me show you guys how to, well, not how to do it in full because it would take too long, but just the concept of it. So just to give you guys an example, I made a video about this and we'll be hosting it at busyworksbeats.com/premium. But basically you can add time markers, okay, on the playlist, and you can go in here and add in the piano roll different velocities so that the piano samples every, I think it's 4 notes in this case, at different velocities. And then you can use things like MIDI out or even a direct plugin, for example. So this MIDI out will trigger my hardware gear. So if I switch the sound here, so MIDI out is basically FL telling my hardware gear what to play. It's using what's called a MIDI port. And in the options here, if you go to MIDI settings, you could set your port to match that number. Okay, as long as the ports match, then your FL Studio can talk to your gear in this case using what's called a MIDI. It is a little complicated. Okay, I know I'm simplifying it. But basically, we can send out the MIDI notes from our piano roll to our hardware. That's the gist. Okay, I don't want to make it complicated. Okay, so now when I trigger these notes, it's actually playing sounds from my keyboard. Okay, now what I would have to do is simply just go to my channel in the mixer, hit record, and do this in real time. Now it does take time, but you would just hit record and it will record through all these notes, and then you have what are called multi-samples. So I'm going to do this using a synth. So instead of MIDI out, that could take a while. Let's use, for example, let's do a third-party plugin, for example, like Omnisphere, for example. And the reason I'm using Omnisphere is because third-party plugins in FL Studio, they have MIDI ports, so we could add that as 0. And as long as this MIDI port number is the same as the MIDI input number, they will, basically when you hit the MIDI out, it will play the sounds from Omnisphere in this case. All right, so that is how you guys can do this process. So then in Omnisphere, you would just design your sound or however you guys do that. For now, again, I'm trying to keep this short, so there's too much to explain about this, but I've already sound designed sounds. All right, so here's some sounds, and then we would go through. So in this case, we're going to right click, consolidate from track start. It's going to basically print all the time markers at the top. The time markers have the velocity range, the MIDI number, and the exact note number, or note name, I'll say. We're going to consolidate this, and we need to make sure that we have playlist markers turned on. Okay, so that will print into the audio, and I'll show you guys how to edit that. Now again, the full video of this process is going to be at busyworksbeats.com/premium in our sound design course. All right, so as this exports, all right, so once it's done, it will print the audio, and not only just the audio, it will have little yellow markers. If you double click in here and right click, you can edit in the audio editor. You can get rid of the loop at the bottom, and now all those time markers are printed into the audio. So what you would do from here is simply name it. We're not going to get too detailed. This is not the full process. Again, there's a lot of steps involved with this. What I'm going to do though is go to File, and we're going to go to Export Regions for common use for samplers for the FL Studio sampler. We don't want that. We want for common use, and then we're going to pick a folder on our computer. So in this case, let's just put it on our desktop. Call this multi-samples. And usually I'll, categorize it. So bells, and then the name of the bell dark. And I'm going to name the file that as well, bells dark. Okay. So now I should be able to go to that file and find the multi-samples. And here's the folder with all the multi-samples. So we have individual notes, okay, from that specific sound. that you can use inside of things like, you know, a synth plugin. So again, the full process, I'm going to have that at busyworksbeats.com/premium because it is a very long process that goes into much more detail. But most people don't even know you can do this with FL Studio. This is one of the greatest tools, in my opinion, for FL Studio. Now, as you guys know, recycled drum kits are so ubiquitous in the music producer community that, you know, most people don't even know that we can see the metadata on the file. They're not even like, they're just so lazy, they don't even care. So for example, if you open up, I'm just gonna open up random stuff. I don't know who this person is, but let's open this up. We can right click and open an audio editor. And most people just see this screen. They don't realize if you right click here, this comments area is where a lot of people forget to actually, you know, change the metadata. So I'm gonna see if I can find a kit that has this listed. So this will take a little bit of time. Just give me a sec, guys. Like for example, this Bricks kit, if you right click, go to edit and audio editor, right click, it tells you this is from a different pack, drumkeys.com. Now some people, they justify their drum kits as saying they're curating the sound, whereas other people parade like they sound designed, and the dead giveaway is usually snares. When their snares are just too perfect all across the board, that lets you know they probably copy and paste from somebody else's kit. So I can sit here and go through, but I just started at the top of the alphabet and went down. And I'm just showing you guys, that's, you know, that metadata is what most people don't even realize. Okay, so we talked about MIDI out, but let me show you guys how I would use it. Now again, MIDI out, I'm only usually using this for sound design purposes. I'm not doing this to actually create a track. So the MIDI out, I can control my keyboard sounds from FL Studio. There is a catch, however, there is latency because MIDI is not like super high speed. So there is a little gap, and there can basically through MIDI, there can be little dropouts. Okay, so just keep in mind, this isn't a perfect system, but if you want to be more stepped, I don't even know the language, like more step approach, whatever the proper grammar is, if you want to take a more step-by-step approach to writing, you know, music for your keyboard, it might be best you guys try MIDI out. So if you're not a keyboard player and you just can't really freestyle, you might want to just draw notes. One thing I'd recommend though is that you alter the velocity or else it sounds stale. So we can go to where it says tools, go to where it says humanize, and then mess with the velocity range. Now we'll give it a more human touch, even if you're not playing the keys. Okay, so you see here, let's convert this to a major third. Try it. So 0, 4, 7, 10. Let's pull this up. And that's so now I'm triggering my keyboard. So now I can go through my keyboard and switch out the sounds while FL Studio re-triggers this. So I do this all the time when I'm sound designing. I might have some kind of arpeggiator. So for example, let's arpeggiate this as I sound design on my actual keyboard. So now I'm going to change out the sounds. Okay, and now I can sit in sound design and not worry about playing the notes every single time. So that's a way, you know, to sound design. That's how I use it. Okay, so far we covered multi-samples, which people didn't even know you could do in FL Studio. Checking the metadata. A lot of people who make drum kits don't even know people can clearly see where you got your drums from. And then the MIDI out, again, that's a sound designer's technique. Now this next one is for people who like to record in FL Studio. So let me open up my mic in FL Studio. So here's the conundrum. Let's say you want to record in FL Studio. The problem is FL displaces your audio everywhere. So for example, if I record, we're not going to record a whole song here. Mic, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now let's record something different. Mic, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so see how I just recorded on 2 different lines? Other DAWs, they keep everything in one line for the most part. So what you can do is just right click on a track. You can actually change this to what's called track mode. We're going to put this on an audio track, meaning that it's audio that we're recording, and then pick any blank mixer insert. So in this case, we could pick insert 1. Okay. So anything that lands on this track will go to that channel. So for example, mic, check. Okay. You guys can see mic, check. Sorry, my mic was down. You guys can see mic, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Whereas the other one, by default, if you double click, it goes back to wherever you recorded, which in this case is channel 121. So if I drag if you double click in here, you'll see that channel. So if I drag this up onto that same row, it changes it to 1. Now, I'm not sure what happens if you change it back. Okay, so it seems to have that permanently, but now both audios will now be routed to channel 1. 1, 2, 1, 2, and not channel 121. 1, 2, 3. So that is a way where you guys can, you know, name this like lead, for example, or lead 2 or something. And now all your vocal leads will go there. Now the issue though is, however, pardon me, is that a lot of people do, what's it called? Punch in? Mic. Like this one is a punch in. So what I'll do is I'll right click here, go to track mode, and I'll pick channel 2. So this is still the lead. It's just the punch in. Okay. So we'll just call it lead 2. Now what you can do in the mixer is go to the mixer and go to a blank mixer insert and just call it lead vocal, Vox for short. Hit control, highlight these, right click the up arrow and route to this track. So they're both going to the same channel 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to record one more time and then we're going to drag it to the top lane just to show you guys. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, 19, 20. Okay, so this is the dumbest recording. Okay, anyway, what we're going to do though, another tip is grab the slice tool. And if you right click, it gets rid of the smaller area. So I can right click to get rid of that dead air. You can hit Alt to right click. Now again, it gets rid of whatever's smaller. So if you are trying to do that with a large chunk like right here, it will get rid of all the stuff on the right side. Okay, so you got to be careful. But anyway, that's how you get rid of all that dead recording air. Mic. And then we're going to, so if we double click in here, it's going to say channel 121. Once we drag this onto a track in track mode, it will change it to 1 or 2. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11. So the thing what we would do on the lead vocals is simply add our thing that we want applied to both vocals. I'm just going to run my plugin because we have it here. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, 19, 20. Okay. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, 19, 20. Okay. All right. So now they're all going to the lead vocal channel. Mic. All right, so that's a smoother way, I'll say, of recording in FL Studio versus it just going everywhere and you have to double click on every single recording channel or every single recording clip and then route it to the mixer. That's a seemingly faster way to do that. So this next tip I learned from Cody. I'm just going to show you guys a couple things we could do. Now this tip is me starting it and then I'll show you guys the Cody tip. We're going to load up a Poison, just any sound. Again, I'm just giving you guys demo sounds here. So let's add a chord. Okay, so let's say we have a chord. Let's hit Alt A, go to the arpeggio, and I learned this next tip from Nine and Y'all. I'm probably saying that wrong, so forgive me if I'm saying the name wrong, but he's a YouTuber. Also, Analog Princess does a lot of underground tips, and Aiden. So we're going to go to the range, hit Alt A, make sure that's 2, and then hit Alt R. And I used the randomizer before, but just for levels. So if you guys go to pattern, turn that off, go to levels, turn the pan knob up, and it will randomize the panning for image line plugins only. This does not work for third-party plugins. We're going to keep this on bipolar mode, meaning it will pan it left and right. Now for the velocity, you guys can mess with that. Normally I don't mess with this, but you guys can mess with that as well. So now if I have this, now it's panning left and right and it has a lot of motion. It's a really dope concept. So let's say we have that in the top end, and let's say we have the same sound here playing a bass note, okay, and then down an octave. All right, so we're going to put these on 2 different patterns here. I'm going to hit Control X. Now I might as well show you guys another tip. This is not what I was going to show you, but I'm going to show you now. If you right click the pattern, you can actually split by channel. So this will take each lane of stuff and put it on its own pattern. I recommend you guys do this for arrangement purposes. If you guys tend to compose in one pattern, I'd recommend you guys split it up for arrangement purposes because a lot of people get beat blocked because there's not enough changes in their audio. But anyway. So Cody showed me this next technique. I didn't realize you could do this, but you can highlight if you zoom into this little, whatever this is in between, this track highlight, I guess is the name. Click in these and then go to the drop down. And then we're going to go to, where is it at here? Why am I going blank on this one? Oh no, use right click. Okay, that's why I'm going blank because it's not there. Yeah, okay, highlight the 2 tracks, right click, consolidate tracks from track start. So now this will basically not only consolidate the 1 track at the top or the 1 row at the top, but both rows into audio. So I didn't know you could do this before. Shout out to Cody for that. And let's hit render. So we'll render them in sequence, and now we have them as audio. So we can do a lot more with audio. I mean, I can't sit here and explain everything about everything, guys, but okay, so it's different than MIDI. Audio, you can do a lot more stuff with it. Now, most people don't know this. So for example, these are weirdly dark, okay? So on the left side here, you can actually highlight all your clips or hit shift, right click, rename this. And the left color is the beginning of the gradient, hit enter. The right color is the end of the gradient, hit enter. And it will color code them according to your gradient. So I do that all the time, especially with patterns. You could do the same exact thing. So again, I don't know why these colors are so weird, but let's put these on something more bright. And the mute tool can unmute. I didn't know that for the longest time, this mute tool here. So if anything ever goes gray, you can grab that mute tool and unmute this stuff. All right, so there's a difference between audio and MIDI. I don't have time to explain that. So that is the consolidate multi-tracks technique. Now I'm going to show you guys how to make your kicks line up with your 808s a little bit easier. So let's record a long 808 here, like a long pattern. Of course, I played that on song mode. Let's do this again. My bad, y'all. Let's do this in pattern mode. Okay, my MIDI's off. All right, 3rd time's the charm. Here we go. So let's record this. We're recording MIDI into the 808. And the whole point here is that the 808 is going to be so long that if we had to copy and paste, if we had to copy the same pattern into the kick, it would be hard to do. So that's what we're doing here. All right, so that's not a long pattern, but that is, you know, a pattern that's quite hefty. So for example, we can double click in here, hit Shift Q, that will quantize to the snap to grid. I recommend you guys keep your snap to grid on a half beat for most stuff that we do in double time. If you don't know what that means, just follow the steps, people. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let's say we have a kick and we're like, okay, there's no way I'm gonna click in all these notes and match them up one by one. It would just take too much time. So I think this tip came from Sicky Beats, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to hit Control C, Control V. So we're going to paste the same pattern from the 808 into the kick. Then we're going to go inside the kick, hit Alt K, change the scale to C, change it to none. And we're going to, usually it looks like this. We're going to pull this range so that it's only focused on C5. And basically we'll take all the notes that are everywhere and pull them back to C5 so that we have the same timing. And C5 triggers the default sample without changing its tuning. So now we have an exact timing match between the kick and the 808. I'm going to show you guys a couple bonus tips. This is not a tutorial. I'm just showing you guys tips. So if you go to the 808, for example, you can go to the pre-computed effects and mess with stereo delay. A lot of people widen their 808s this way so that the kick hits in the middle and the 808 hits on the side. Another technique the underground's doing is messing with this pogo setting. To the right is to the left it goes pew like that, like a laser. Okay, so there's 2 different pitch bend styles. You can also go to your envelope here, turn your pitch envelope on, turn the amount up, turn your hold down, just give it a small decay curvature and change your decay. So the people were doing this because a lot of 808 samples were sustained and they didn't have the knock. And you know, that's how you add the knock to an 808 basically. And it became a sound. Okay, so that's how they do that. Now, if we go to the pre-computed effects again, we can mess with boost, but most people mess with this clip tool. I don't personally like the clip tool, it just depends. Most of the time I don't like it though. But if you want a more rattly sound, you can mess with that. Also, they have a reverb built in here. Beat battlers use that all the time. And other stuff I really don't use, but don't be afraid to use it, okay? And what else can I show you guys today? I'm really just showing you guys everything. So this next technique came from Thayer. Really dope YouTuber. I recommend you guys go subscribe because this technique changes the game. So basically you can take any melody. I'm just going to find a melody. Let's do like a do sounds or something like this. Shout out to Drew. And let's go to his feature pack, grab a melody. It could just be anything. It does not need to be an elaborate sound. I'm just showing you guys. Double click in here. We're going to right click and open an editor, audio editor. Then we're going to click on this tool here, this blur tool, or you can go to where it says the wrench tool. Go to blur, turn the amount all the way up, mix all the way up, hit accept, and it will turn it into a smeary sound. So here's the original. Okay, but here's, now it's like super haunted. Now I've noticed with this technique, it tends to focus only on one note. So I haven't found a way where it sounds like a Clams Casino type vibe where it changes notes over time, but it is a really dope, unique technique. So shout out to Thayer on that one. Next technique is the Synth-It technique. And he's the one that made this popular. So Synth-It, again, guys, these tutorials, I'm trying to make this short so that people can like just take these tips and go. I'm not trying to sit here for half an hour to explain every single how to about everything. So you just got to understand that. Okay, so we're gonna take this chord, for example. Now let's say you want something to pitch bend. Most people, what they'll do is they'll add another note and just double click and change this to a slide note. It pitch bends all of the notes in this MIDI channel to this note. That might be the sound you want for like a tape stop, but let's say you just want a melodic pitch bending. So for melodic type stuff, what we can do is double click a note, change what's called the MIDI channel. That's what these colors are. I recommend use the top row so that you guys know like what is what. It's a little bit easier. And then go to color, in this case 5, and then double click on your slide note, make it the same MIDI channel. Now only the color of the MIDI channel will slide to the same color of the MIDI channel. I don't know if that's proper grammar, but the other notes will not slide to this note. Okay, so that's a way to kind of control pitch bends. And Rio Leva takes this to a whole different level when he has multiple MIDI channels. So for example, you have something like this. So he's treating it almost like what they call MPE. I forget what it stands for, MIDI performance. So now we're pitch bending per note. So now we took that basic chord into this melodic movement. I'm not sure you can pitch bend multiple. Let me see something. So you can pitch bend multiple as well. So again, you guys will learn your own style, but it goes dun, 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 like that. Let's pull this down. I'm just gonna copy this over, so I have no idea what these chords are gonna sound like. Not the coolest melody in the world, but that's the technique. Again, we could sit here all day and make a melody, but that would just waste time. All right, next is Wave Candy. Now, Wave Candy is an awesome, awesome, awesome sound design tool because it's the one thing that makes sound design make sense, and it's because it shows you the harmonics of a sound. Without seeing sound, it's hard to conceptualize what harmonics even are. So Wave Candy is the most important plugin, in my opinion, when it comes to sound design. Utility plugin. I haven't seen other DAWs do this or any third-party plugin. This is the best tool that I've seen. Okay, there's probably more out there, I just don't know. So here's Wave Candy, and now we can look at the harmonic structure. So most people don't know, like, what is the difference between a sawtooth and a sine wave, for example. Let me switch this out for Serum so that we can quickly, come on, Serum, where are you? Serum 2. So for example, what's the difference between a sawtooth and a sine wave? Here's a sine wave. It's just the horizontal note going across. But when I switch it to a saw wave, it's all these harmonics stacked up. And there's a difference. You can visually see the difference between a triangle and a square wave. These are all different structures of harmonics, and that makes sound design make sense. You're like, oh, that's why a sawtooth sounds different than a sine wave. Not just because of the shape. That doesn't make any sense. It's because of the harmonics of the sound. So that is a really good sound design and teaching tool. Wave Candy, super slept on. Now another tool, and this is my last tip for today, is Edison. Most people don't realize, for example, I can open this up in Edison, double click, right click, edit Edison. Now, do I use this tool a lot? No, but I just want you guys to know because it is kind of dope. So in the bottom right of Edison, you can display waveform, and you can also right click to change out the actual gradient. So I could switch this out, and we could do different things like, you know, the color map view, but we're going to do the, this view, and then we could change out the actual colors. So you can make it blue. So if you guys want to do something dope for, you know, what is it called? TikTok and stuff, or just social media. So now we have like a cooler screen that doesn't look sterile. Okay, you can switch it out. All these different gradients. All right, so those are the tips. Those are going to be the tips for today. This video is probably 30 minutes long, if I had to guess. 25 minutes long, holy moly. So share this with a friend. I'm not going to talk any, I'm not going to yap anymore. But if you guys want to learn more, go to busyworksbeats.com/premium. We've trained over 1 million producers around the world. Some are going to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Glorilla. We have 3 confirmed Grammy winners, multi-platinum plaque winning producers. Go to busyworksbeats.com/premium to start your free trial today. Peace out, guys.